pretty big weekend, I'd say. I mean, I know you guys are focused, and I can't look past this weekend, obviously. But what was that like, kind of in retrospect now?
It was a great start. We felt going in that we had capabilities of doing good things there, and so to play a good team and step up at a couple critical points, I thought that was good to see. And I'm not sure we would have done that last year, but it's one win. So it was a great win. It's a great resume builder. But you're right. Now this weekend is going to be. I can tell you as a staff and as a team, we have moved on to this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, how tough is that? You get, I guess it's good so your players don't get too big of heads, but you've got, two top 20 teams, coming in. You want to make sure that's not a fluke, I guess. Is that something that you're preaching to your team?
Well, I think what we're preaching is we've talked about the season being a marathon, and so each mile that we run, each match that we play, we want to get better. And so that's what we talked about this weekend. We set some specific goals. They weren't win-loss type goals, and we'll do the same this weekend.
From a scheduling standpoint, how difficult was it to get a team like Kentucky, and I'm sure you played Northern Iowa before, I'm sure USC here, I mean, those are big name teams. Why did they decide to come here to play you guys?
We're in a 4-year agreement with those teams, and we've actually re-upped it for another 4 years. So we finally get it. We were the 4th team, so we've been to all those places. The fact is, a lot of teams want to play us. Washington's going to return. So we've had great teams in our gym, and we like to, when we set up our schedule, we try to do a home and away. We rarely will go some place without a return, and so and we're a good RPI team for them to play, just as they're a good RPI team for for us to play them.
How big is it?
This is good of a rotation. Or I guess, how does the rotation work the next 4 years? When do you get it next? I guess
4 years from now.
Oh, the same one again.
It's not in the same order. I can't remember where we're going next year, but and we might be going to USC. I can't remember where we're going next year. I just know we're 4th. I didn't really care, so I was fine with that.
One day at a time. Is this as difficult a non-conference tournament as you guys have ever played it in your time here, do you think?
I think it probably is. Rob Anderson would be the one to ask that, too.
Let's bring him in here real quick.
But I think it's probably the best tournament in the country this weekend. It's going to be great volleyball, and we hope that we're selling out every match, and we hope the matches that we're not playing have tons of volleyball fans, because if you love volleyball, this is the place to be this weekend.
What do you tell your girls, to keep them focused that, they have the big win on the road, beating a top 5 team, and then coming back, to look at the journey rather than just those big wins?
Well, it's the same thing we've been talking about all season, and it's the same thing we said before the matches this weekend. Before the Washington match, I said, a win doesn't make our season, and a loss isn't going to define our season. So it's the same discussion that we've been having, that each time we step on the court, we have to get better so that we're peaking in November. So just because we won that match, none of the things that we're telling them day to day in the gym are changing. We're very process oriented. We're not win-loss oriented. We want to be better on Friday than we were last Saturday night.
How important is it for this team to have that kind of a win going into, this weekend's tournament with the teams you have here and the new facility renovations and all that? It's kind of perfect timing for a win like that, isn't it?
Well, obviously it tells the team that we're doing some good things and that they're a good team. But had we lost, I think they'd still come in confident. I think they believe in what they're doing. And again, they're stronger mentally than they were a year at this time. I saw that a lot this weekend. I saw us going for it maybe in times that we didn't as much last year. So all those things are good. My big thing to them is let's go down swinging. So whatever we do, we want to go for it. And, usually good things happen in those scenarios. But you know what? Sometimes they might not. And that's okay. That's part of playing the game.
What do you attribute to the trajectory of the improvement you guys have had from weekend to weekend, and even last week? It looked like, with each passing match, you could see that you were playing better in certain areas than you had the previous match. Noticeable ones, maybe not obviously finished product-wise, but how do you think the group was able to kind of assess what they did right and wrong from one match to the other this weekend?
Well, I think that's early in the season, and you're going to see that with every team, is that you just start to progress. And honestly, we don't do a ton of 6-on-6 play, probably much less than a lot of teams, just because we're kind of limited on numbers this year, and we're really big on making sure bodies are taken care of. So, I kind of expected that to happen. I was hoping it wasn't going to burn us. I think playing K-State helped us a great deal. I saw us really improve during that match, that exhibition. So, hopefully that will continue. There's some areas that I thought we did pretty effectively this weekend, and then there were some areas that we were like, these are some deficiencies we've got to get better in.
How big
What
of a
about-
priority was it for you to get more attention on the program locally? I mean, just to bring fans in here to see you guys play. I know you don't have a ton of home matches, but this weekend I'm sure it's going to be packed, and down the line it will be packed too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I hope so. I think, our goal is to be selling this place out. We want this ticket to be a commodity, and I think that we're putting a product out there that people will enjoy. I think our marketing staff does a great job. The other thing that's awesome is that after matches, kids get to interact with our players, so that's a pretty cool thing. So, hopefully we're doing the right things that if people come and experience it, they're going to want to come back.
When did you set that goal to sell it out?
I
Is
set that
a
goal.
long time ago?
Well, I set 5-year goals. I set them in. Well, let's just say we haven't met it as fast as I'd like to be.
Okay.
To be there.
Fair enough.
I mean, we talked about this earlier in the season, but again, this is the best, ranking that this program has had. I know it's, 3 games into the year, but it's still got to be pretty special to maybe turn some heads when people look at the polls and see Creighton at number 7.
I think the thing that's great is it helps recruiting. So when you send something to a kid, people are saying, hey, this is a good volleyball program. And, again, we're not a perfect fit for everyone, but if you are an academic kid, a culture kid that maybe wants to be in classes where you're going to know your professors, this is the perfect place. So, or at least we think so. I really believe in what we're selling. And I think, being in that top 10 range, opens doors to a lot of recruits.
Talk about this Kentucky match on Friday, our top 20 team facing them. It's going to be one.
Kentucky, I've been watching Kentucky today. They are physical, and they destroyed us last year in 3 straight, probably our worst loss of the regular season last year. So they return a lot. They've got a new setter who actually was Naomi Hickman's club setter, our freshman that's playing. So, they've got some relationship there. They look really, really good. So we're going to have our hands full. They've got a stud outside and a stud middle that are pretty special athletically.
Lydia, just talk about we haven't talked to you since Saturday night about the match. What'd that win mean for this program?
I think it was fun, and it was a great confidence booster and showed us how mature we really are. At the end of the day, on paper, it just goes down as one win. I think Coach always says this season's a marathon, so that's just one win. If it went the other way and we lost, I think we would have learned from it just as well. So I think it was exciting, and it was a really fun atmosphere, but at the end of the day, it's just a win.
But you're number 7, the highest ranking the school's ever had. What does that mean?
It's exciting. I think it'd be way more fun to be number 7 or higher at the end of the year than it is right now. I think it's exciting and it's really good for our program, but I think it's most important if we can go out there and walk the walk and show everyone we deserve to be that or higher. So we're not reading too much into it.
How about the weekend you guys have coming up here with the 3 teams that are going to be in-house? This is a pretty impressive lineup of 4 volleyball teams in one place. How much are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm really excited. First of all, to get to be home, and second of all, to get to play back-to-back-to-back teams that are just so challenging, and they're all so different, They all run a different offense and different defense, so it's going to be really challenging, and I think that's what we live for, is the challenging matches, so we're excited.
Houston was talking about Kentucky and the way they beat you guys last year. I'm sure that's something that you remember. How much does that stick in your mind still?
Yeah, that match is thankfully a blur because it happened so fast, but I think we want a little redemption, and they're a great team. They handled us easily, and so I think we're excited to show them that we're a little bit better than that this year.
But last weekend, did it help? A couple of your players, I think, said that the offenses that you faced were somewhat similar. Is that it's different this week then? Are there any similarities that can help you prepare for 3 different teams?
Yes, I think they all had very fast offenses this past weekend,
Yeah.
and they all had a similar defensive style. So these ones, the teams we'll play this weekend are all really different. Yeah, so it makes it a little bit harder, but that's also the fun, how we can adapt in the middle of a game. We always say we have a scout, but what if they come out doing something totally different? Well, we have to be able to adapt to that and make changes on our own, and it's all part of a learning process.
What you've played in a lot of venues that have been packed before. What does that? I mean, what does it do for a player? Like the idea of having this place filled up for a match. What kind of impact would that have?
It's fun. I think we work so hard, so it's nice to get to show people what we're finally doing, you know, when we step on the court. I don't really notice the fans. I mean, you can tell when there's a lot of people, but I don't really listen to what they're saying. I can't really hear it because I'm so just focused on the game. But it definitely makes it more fun when you have especially at home when they're supporting us and not the other team for once.
What was the toughest place you've played on the road? Or
Definitely, I'd say Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not super loud, but there's a lot of them. So you feel like you're like tiny compared to all the people that are there in this big building. So.
Yeah, because most of the time volleyball, it's kind of gyms this size, right?
Yeah.
Nebraska's.
It's huge, and they fill it up too, so
Right.
it's fun. Yeah.
Big weekend. How do you guys kind of keep that momentum going with obviously a lot of tough competition coming up here this week?
Well, we have 3 really great teams coming in, so we just have to focus on each game at a time, and we're just going to focus each day in practice and get better.
Well, that Kentucky match, you know, we were just talking to Lydia and Coach about how they kind of destroyed you guys a little bit last year. I mean, what do you guys take from that, and is there a little extra edge maybe going into that one this time?
I think there's a little extra edge for each team. We all want to beat each other, obviously. We're all very competitive, so I think we're just going to take each game at a time and not focus too much on one specific game over the others.
What have you noticed is different about the players' attitudes going into big matches this year as opposed to maybe around this time last year when you had chances to win big matches, but, you know, end game or something just didn't go right?
Yeah, we talked about that at the end. So Coach really focused on finishing the match and getting it done. And we just really came together and we were problem solving together. And if something bad happened, we would let it go and we move on to the next point.
Yeah, what are those moments like? I mean, Washington at the end of that game 4, I feel like they had a lead or they were up a couple points. How did you? I mean, what's sort of going through your mind as a player to try to get back on top of them?
Especially Coach Meek, he always talks about focusing on the next play. If something big happens, it's only 1 point. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to move by it and focus on the next one. So that's what we kind of focus on.
Going back to the, Kansas NCAA tournament, the Washington one Saturday, where the third set is really getting away from you, and you feel like you're not going to come back and win that one. How do you keep your competitive edge, but try to build it towards the set you have coming next to that, knowing that's probably the more important one?
We talked about building momentum on the court, so it was going downhill. The third match we struggled a little bit, so we just had to focus on one, not giving up on the match, but if we did have to go to a fourth match, that we would just have momentum going into that match, and so we'd be able to build on that one.
How about the opportunity for fans, and for you guys to showcase this place, this weekend, all the renovations and all the great teams that are going to be here. How special can this weekend be for you guys?
I'm very excited because I think our gym looks beautiful, and we are all very excited to have all of our fans finally back. And the students are here and they're excited, and all the teachers are talking about the games and congratulating us, and so it's going to be awesome to have some fans here.
Are you worried about nerves in the home debut? You guys seem to take the edge with you on the road, being against like a hostile environment. Are you worried about nerves being in a friendly environment on this
We
weekend?
like to say that the fans that are cheering against us at the away games are actually cheering for us. So every
really?
time they said, go Huskies, they were saying, go Jays. So we just kind of try to take their energy to use it too.
What's the most fun you've had here at home? Like, I don't know, has there been a comparable experience if this place is sold out on Friday? What's the next best thing, in terms of the atmosphere? What in your time here, what's been at the top?
I think we have a great atmosphere with all of our Blue Crew, with the band and everything. So hopefully if we sell out, that would be awesome. But the crowd means a lot to us, and getting as many people here is super important to us. And it's really going to help us get through all 3 games, and they're all going to be very tough.